Hello everyone, we have to discuss about that extended municipal expenditure. RBI released a report on the municipal finance. The report and highlighted the inadequacy and of upon the revenues of municipal corporations and their increasing dependence on grant and transactions. Issue of state and municipal expenditures in India and challenges associated with it. Inadequate collections collection efficiency of property tax and the single large sources of revenue of ULBS range from 32 and to 72 and for the 5 states and Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh and West Bengals and Himachal Pradesh and Jharkhand borrowing the account only for other minutes share of the GDP and gross municipals on borrowing account and for only less than 0.05% of GDP and for other municipal corporations it was around 6% of the total received municipals. Municipals and the corporations it was around 6% of the total received of municipal corporations and aid the national level big fiscal capacities and municipalities in India have limited fiscal capabilities and age either dropped heavily on the transferred and from the state and central government, and this can lead to the lack of the resources and other limited ability to invest in infrastructures and services. Limited revenue resources and municipalities in India have limited revenue sources and with the property taxes being the primary sources of revenue and the low taxes and base and inadequate and tax collections mechanism and can limited their ability to generate revenue and invest in infrastructure sufficient inefficiency expenditure and management municipalities in India and the option face and challenges and in the managing their expenditures and efficiency, and this can include issues and such as the corruptions and efficiency and low levels and accountability political factors. Municipalities in India are often and subject to political pressures and which can influences their expenditure, and this can lead to other focus on short-term project and rather than long-term infrastructure development pending account and ODOs as per CAG ODOs reports and for the 2779 and ULBS and ODO audits were pending. And in the respected of their annual account for years ranging of the 2008 and 2009 to 2015 and 16. Total revenue of the ULBS into India to India and GDP and aggregates and the revenue of all UTBS in India. Total revenue of LBS and in India and to India GDP and aggregates revenue of LU and ULBS in India put together are estimated 8 less than INR 1 lakh 15,000 CR, and this account to less than 1% of the GDP, compared to greater than the 6% in the Brazil and South Africa consequently, and both revenue wise and expenditures and wise and ULBN are not and sufficient enough and the institutions and of local self government suggested measure fiscal and decentralizations, and state government need to the devolve more avance the revenue and stream to the ULBS, and giving them greater powers and over such the revenue streams, and SFCS need to be overhauled and into the credibles in institutions, and state government need to be hold account for the timely and considered and response to ATRS and revenue optimizations. ULBS need to the optimize own revenue streams and developed to them by reviewing and reforming the 5 stages of the properties and tax life cycles, and namely valuation, assessment, billing, and collections and reporting. Particular attention needs to be paid to the competences of assessment and billings, and the maximizing collection efficiency, fiscal responsibilities, and budget management. There is a need for other FRBM frameworks for the ULBS that the focused on realistics and budget estimated and timely and credit and the standardized and the audited and annual account and uniforms accountings and standard and the prudent financial accounting. Financial accounting principle, medium terms and fiscals and plans and performance recording, and citizens and participating in budgeting and financial management institutionals and capabilities. State government and need to the but and capabilities of ULBS into participation areas. First, they need to estimate it and then provide access to the adequate members of skill staff in revenue and accounts department. Second, integrated information system that handled end to end transactions processing and reporting needs to be the implementation special purposes and vehicles, and MCS can close to finance through the special purpose vehicles PBS. For example, China local government financial vehicles. LGFB is an the instrument company. LPGF is an the investment company that sells bond in the bond market and for the financial real estate development and another local infrastructure project. Impact of freebies on the Indian states and fiscal health. Expert flag risk to the economic. It the freebies are rolled out and without any check. Indian state and fiscal health. High fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit, which mean and that there the expenditure is much the higher than and there the revenue. High fiscal deficit and can lead to other state and the indebtedness, and which can the negatively affected it is the credit and ratings making it the mere It more challenging to borrow in the futures. The State Bank of India (SBI) in its the recent analysis has said that the finance of the 18th and defeat and as of the gross and state gross domestic production and GSDP is around 3.6 and the percent of gross domestic product and GDP for FPF by 23 and revenue low tax revenue and the tax revenue of Indian state is relatively low primarily and due to the low taxes base and the evasions and the low tax revenue limits. The state ability to fund essential social and economically development projects leading to the inadequate infrastructures and public services and high debt burdens. Many Indian states have other high debt burdens and due to excessive borrowings. This can lead to the higher interest and payment and can negative impact the state finance. State finance in the long run 5 states and namely the Bihar, Kerala, Punjab, Rajasthan and West Bengal and figures. Reserve Bank of India and poor expenditure management and poor the expenditure management is another challenge faced by many Indian states and expenditure on non-essential items like the freebies and the subsidy and other the sub measures is often high leading to other strength and on the state financial additionally. Inefficient management of government project and can result in cost and the overruns and delay. Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh and Punjab ensure a very high subsidy bill and by doing out freebies and that go overs and the above 10% of the total revenue received impact of freebies and on the fiscal health of state. Fiscal burden on state and pupils pay tax to people pay tax to the government to improve infrastructure, healthcare, publics and facilities development and the country growth. However, and the taxpayers' fund are used for the fabrics during the electorals. It is the discourage the honest and taxpayers whose money is used to pay and for the freebies and no. For instance, Punjab state government has been in debt since a long time at the present accounting to rate 3 lakh crores with GSNP of the 2021-22 and standing at export high revenue deficit. Need for grants for the centers and to meet their the basic needs. With the uncontrolled and rolling out of freebies, the state and revenue deficit has been increasing. For example, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Punjab ensure a very high subsidy will by the doings out and the freebies that go over the above 10% of their total revenue received and the 3 states give away freebies with 14.15 and freebies come under revenue expenditures and as the fiscal responsible and budget management. FRBM Act required and state to the estimated and revenues defeats and state have limited resources to spend on the revenues and expenditure thereby whose available for the freebies will be the restricted no capitals. Capital formations because and there is no the capital information or the future return from the freebies and to the government and they put pressure on the government budget. The burden of interest and payments will increase as the deficits good inflations. The distribution of free goods and causes economic inflation because provision include free power, water, and the other types of the consumers and goods, and thus are the utilized and by the pupils without paying, which in the terms and disturbed. Demand product of the communities.